Are you seeing with your eyes right now? Or is it your brain that's doing the seeing? How would you answer that question? In the 1970s, a patient in a laboratory said something that stopped researchers cold. "I can't see anything." And yet, he pointed to the location of light flashes he couldn't see with accuracy that far exceeded chance. Then, in 2008, footage emerged of a patient with complete damage to his primary visual cortex navigating a hallway full of obstacles without bumping into a single one. Blind, yet seeing. This points to something profound. Consciousness and cognition may be entirely different things. Today, using Blindsight as our entry point, let's venture into one of science's deepest puzzles. What is consciousness, and what does it mean to truly see? By the time this video ends, the act of seeing will raise questions for you that it never did before. Chapter 1. The Unseeing Eye That Knows the World. When you close your eyes, the world goes dark. That seems obvious. But what if your eyes were open and you still couldn't see? This isn't about visual impairment. This is about a strange phenomenon that occurs when the primary visual cortex, a critical hub for visual processing at the back of the brain, is damaged. The primary visual cortex, located at the back of the brain and known as V1, is the gateway through which information from the eyes must pass to become conscious visual experience. When it's damaged, the corresponding region of the visual field goes dark. Though it's worth noting that consciousness itself doesn't arise from V1 alone, wider brain circuit involvement is still actively debated. Here's where it gets strange. How do we explain a patient who, in that darkened region, consistently identifies the location of a light flash they claim they cannot see? Neuroscientist Lawrence Weisskranz studied a patient known as DB for years, publishing his landmark paper in 1974. DB had suffered damage to part of his primary visual cortex, leaving a portion of his visual field gone. And yet, in forced choice tasks, he could identify the position and direction of movement of light flashes in his blind region at rates significantly above the 50% chance level. Every time, DB said the same thing. "I can't see it, I just have a feeling. Maybe it's this way." And yet his finger was almost always right. Here's an important nuance. Recent research has moved away from treating blindsight as a single uniform phenomenon. Scientists now distinguish between a form with no awareness whatsoever and a form where a vague sense of something persists, using measures like confidence ratings to more precisely probe access to consciousness. In other words, the boundary between conscious and unconscious may not be a binary switch. It may be a continuous gradient. And here's where a profound question emerges. Is the conscious experience of seeing the core of visual processing, or merely a byproduct? Let's look at how this phenomenon unfolds inside the brain. But the real mystery is only just beginning. Let's step inside the brain mechanisms that give rise to blindsight. Chapter 2. The Brain's Zombie Mode. What blindsight reveals is that vision is not a single, unified thing. The brain doesn't process visual information through one channel. So how does it process it? This is where the concept of two visual pathways becomes crucial. This discovery may be the key to unlocking the mystery of blindsight. In their landmark 1992 paper, neuroscientists Goodale and Milner proposed a framework dividing vision into two distinct pathways, a framework that was further developed and debated through the 1990s. The ventral pathway identifies what an object is, generating conscious perception. The dorsal pathway determines where an object is, directly guiding action. And critically, the dorsal pathway may not require consciousness to function. It receives information and translates it into action, all without rising to conscious awareness. So which pathway is at work in blindsight? When V1 is damaged, conscious vision is severely disrupted, but the brain may have another route available. A subcortical pathway running from the superior colliculus in the brainstem, through a thalamic relay station called the pulvinar, and onto higher visual areas. The hypothesis, actively debated among researchers, is that this route partially bypasses V1, passing visual information into action without ever reaching consciousness. That said, no single mechanism tells the whole story. The location of damage and individual differences mean multiple pathways likely contribute in different ways. Neuroscientist Christoph Koch and others have called this unconscious, automated processing state zombie mode. visual information guiding behavior without ever stepping onto the stage of consciousness. It's not standard academic terminology, but the metaphor cuts straight to the heart of the phenomenon. I want to pause here and consider something. If the vast majority of visual processing happens without consciousness, what is the purpose of the experience of seeing that we feel every day? Is consciousness actually necessary for the system of vision to function? Blindsight shows that some visual processing can operate without conscious experience. But that alone doesn't allow us to conclude that consciousness is causally powerless. Multiple theories compete to explain the function of consciousness, and the debate is far from settled. Let's think about what this means. What Blindsight confronts us with is not the answer that consciousness is unnecessary. Rather, it places squarely before us the question, what is consciousness actually doing? This small window called Blindsight opens onto a vast and unsolved mystery, the nature of consciousness itself. Let's push deeper and ask what that mystery means for human existence. The debate over consciousness's function is playing out right now, at the frontier of science. Chapter 3. What is consciousness for? How did the story of Blindsight land for you? I suspect it wasn't just curiosity you felt. Somewhere, you may have started thinking about your own consciousness. The question Blindsight forces on us isn't merely a question of neuroscience. It strikes at the heart of a mystery humanity has wrestled with for millennia. Why does consciousness exist at all? There is a philosophical position known as epiphenomenalism. The idea that consciousness is a byproduct of the brain's physical processes with no actual causal role in behavior. Like smoke rising from a chimney that plays no part in driving the train. Blindsight is sometimes cited as evidence for this view. Visually accurate behavior is possible without conscious experience. But that alone is not enough to conclude that consciousness is causally inert. Multiple theories attempt to explain consciousness's role, and Blindsight is just one piece of evidence to weigh against them. The debate over the function of consciousness is moving right now, at the cutting edge of science. Does consciousness lie in the integration of information, or in the brain's global broadcast of information across its networks? Between 2023 and 2024, the results of a massive adversarial experiment targeting this very question were reported, sending ripples through the scientific community. The answer isn't in yet, but consciousness research is accelerating like never before, and Blindsight continues to provide experimental ground for that debate. Here's something worth holding on to. Blindsight patients can use visual information to act, but in most cases, they cannot report it with confidence. Not "I saw it," but "I had a feeling, maybe." Their metacognitive access is limited. This may be the most fundamental difference between Blindsight and normal vision. Consciousness gives us the power to put visual information into words, bind it to memory, and communicate it to others with conviction. And in an era where AI systems generate sophisticated responses without any consciousness, this question extends beyond humanity. If AI is a system that responds to the world without consciousness, are they a kind of digital Blindsight for our age? Let's think about what this means. Even if consciousness is a byproduct, that byproduct may be the only stage on which we make meaning of the world. Without consciousness, there is no beauty, no grief, no conviction that anything is felt at all. And perhaps that experience is the very core of what it means to be human. Blindsight shows us a paradox, blind, yet seeing. And that paradox asks us something. What is the experience of the world you're feeling right now in this moment actually doing? Let's take stock of what today's exploration has revealed. Chapter 4. A Shift in Understanding. Today, using Blindsight as our gateway, we've explored one of the deepest questions in science, the separation of consciousness from cognition. A patient with a damaged primary visual cortex says he cannot see, and then navigates around obstacles, points to a flash of light. That single fact shakes the foundation of what we thought seeing meant. Let's gather the shifts in understanding today's exploration has given us. First, seeing and being conscious may not be the same process. Blindsight patients lose conscious visual experience, yet visual information continues to shape their actions. And recent research suggests the boundary between conscious and unconscious may be a continuous gradient, not a hard line. Our understanding of Blindsight is still evolving. Second, The brain can process visual information and control behavior without routing it through consciousness. Subcortical bypass routes, like the pathway from the superior colliculus through the pulvinar to higher visual areas, may be among several alternative channels at work. Right now, as you watch this, vast amounts of visual processing may be happening entirely beneath your awareness. Third, even so, consciousness may have a unique function that no unconscious system possesses. The ability to put information into words with conviction, to bind it to memory, to make meaning from it, to feel something as beautiful, as frightening, as deeply familiar. That subjective experience may be the very core of what consciousness is. These 3 points reveal something extraordinary. Inside the everyday act of seeing, science has yet to fully map the layers. The first time I encountered the research on Blindsight, I felt something strange. Not wonder at the phenomenon itself, but a sudden uncertainty about my own seeing. How much of what these eyes are taking in right now is conscious, and how much is unconscious? The more I thought about it, the more the act of seeing began to look like an unsolved mystery. The mystery of consciousness is a question for neuroscience, for philosophy, and for the nature of existence itself. And the race toward answers is accelerating right now. Here's what I want to ask you. If consciousness is nothing more than a byproduct of the brain's physical processes, what does the experience you're having right now actually mean? And how much do the world you believe you're seeing and the world your brain is actually processing overlap? What do you think? It's a question I keep carrying with me. This small window called Blindsight opens onto a vast mystery, the nature of what it means to be human. Living alongside that mystery, I believe, is one of the great joys of being a seeker of knowledge. After this video ends and you return to ordinary life, try this, just once. When you're looking at something, ask yourself, am I truly seeing this consciously, or is my brain running on autopilot? When you cross a street, when you step around someone, how much of that is conscious decision and how much is an unconscious system doing the work? Next time you look into someone's eyes, try to imagine what that eye is actually processing. When you notice the strangeness of seeing, the world may look just a little different. Or perhaps it won't look different at all. But carrying that question forward will enrich your consciousness. Of that, I'm certain. Share your insights in the comments below. Your questions are what propel this channel forward. I'm genuinely grateful you stayed with this intellectual journey all the way to the end. At Mindshift, we explore consciousness, the cosmos, and the nature of existence through the dual lens of science and philosophy. Each episode, we dig up fundamental mysteries hiding in plain sight, like Blindsight, and deliver journeys that change how you see the world. If today's exploration sparked even one new question in you, subscribe and turn on notifications. The next question is one I want to explore with you. Until then,